Now, don't get me wrong. I love talking about prospects, and we've made a bunch of videos about prospects over the past few years, from the Canucks, the Canadiens, and especially the Detroit Red Wings. But none of those prospect videos are going to be like this one. Because today, we are diving into the most unexpected, surprising, and honestly kind of crazy Red Wings prospect update for a guy that technically isn't even a Red Wings prospect, but he's kind of lumped in there. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So earlier this week, the Detroit Red Wings went out there and posted their prospect games roster. Take a look at this. It all starts next weekend. Here are the names suiting up for the 2025 Detroit Red Wings prospect games. On forwards, you've got a whole bunch of guys that I think Red Wings fans are familiar with. Michael Brandsegg-Nygård is there, Nate Danielson is there, Carter Bear's gonna be there, Emmett Finney, a bunch of dudes. On defense, you've got Shai Buium, Axel Sandin-Pellikka, Jacob Truscott, and then in net, you've got Landon Miller, Rudy Guimont, and Michal Frondell. A bunch of guys are Red Wings property. They've been drafted by the Wings, they've been developed in the Wings system, and others are invitees. But I wanted to turn your attention to number 83 on defense, Justice Christiansen, who is going to be suiting up for the University of Nebraska-Omaha in the NCAA this upcoming year. Christensen, spare the amazing name, Justice Christiansen, that's fantastic. He's an undrafted prospect, and he's 20 years old, 5'9", 185, a right-handed defenseman who was not drafted by the Detroit Red Wings. He was a camp invitee, born on August 30th, 2005, from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. Justice Christiansen is taking advantage of the NCAA CHL eligibility because after wrapping up what was a few years in the WHL, he is now heading over to college. This previous year, for the Prince Albert Raiders as the captain, he had scored 46 points in 68 games played, 22 goals and 24 assists. Now, never mind the fact that 22 goals is actually pretty good for a defenseman in the WHL, he also had himself 3 points in 11 games in the playoffs. Now, unfortunately for Justice Christiansen, the WHL wasn't really all too kind to him in terms of the production this year. They ended up getting eliminated pretty easily by Medicine Hat. You don't want to see a team get out there and get swept in the ways that they did in the second round, but that's ultimately what happened here for the Prince Albert Raiders. However, the reason Justice Christiansen stands out to me as a Red Wings invitee is not really because of this WHL stint that he had, but it's because of what he had done in the summer. Take a look at this article posted on the Prince Albert Raiders website back in July of 2025. Christensen wins World Ball Hockey Championship gold. Scroll down over here, he ended up winning the World Ball Hockey Championship U20 tournament for Team Canada. Justice Christiansen is bringing a gold medal back to Canada. The Raiders D-man helped Canada win the U20 2025 Men's World Ball Hockey Championship in Poprov, Slovakia. Canada went undefeated throughout the entire tournament, capping off with an 8-7 overtime win in the finals against the Czechs. Canada started the tournament with a nail-biting 3-2 win over the Czechs. Christensen had a pair of assists in that game, as the Canadians started off on the right foot. In Canada's second game, Christensen picked up another assist in a 4-1 win over the host Slovaks. Team Canada ended up improving to 3-0 in the group stage with a dominant 9-1 win over Switzerland. Christensen extended his point streak to 3 games with another assist. Canada played their fourth and final game of the group stage on the same day, where they were matched up with the US. It was another solid game for Christensen, who served as Canada's captain for the tournament. He notched an assist on the game-winning goal as Canada took on the US and won 4-2. Going a perfect 4-0 in the group stage, Canada was granted a bye straight to the final, where they would take on the winner of the semifinals between the Czechs and the US. The Czechs won the semis 4-2, setting up a rematch of Canada's first game of the tournament, and this time around was even more entertaining. There are a bunch of clips over here posted by the Prince Albert Raiders Twitter account, only fitting that the gold medal game had a Christensen bomb. I mean, look at that. He ends up winding it from all the way back there at the blue line. He's the right-handed D-man. He drives it towards the goal. It goes in. Of course, yes, you're reading it right here. U20 Men's World Ball Hockey Championship. This is essentially the World Juniors for the ball hockey scene. And Justice Christiansen took his leadership and captaincy experience from the Prince Albert Raiders in the WHL over to this men's ball hockey tournament. Now, if you head over to the PopRod 2025 website, you will find all the scores. You will find everything that went down. I mean, ball hockey is kind of crazy. Just take a look at some of these games. You got the U20 games like Czechia beating Team Switzerland 11-3. And then you had some of the women's games, which were absolutely crazy too. Look at this. The World Junior Women's Czech team beat Great Britain 17-0, which is outstanding. Go over to some of the other games. The Canadian women's squad destroyed Great Britain to 19-0. I'm sorry, Britain, but y'all were getting smoked. And you also had the Team Canada men's team destroying squads as well. 9-1 victory over Team Switzerland. I mean, ball hockey scores can really get out of hand quickly. The production and just the level of the ball going into the net, it's a lot more accessible than it is on ice, it appears. And that happened into the final game of the tourney as well, where Team Canada ended up winning over the Czechs 8-7 in overtime. Justice Christiansen, by the way, did have an assist on this final overtime winner. He got the secondary assist as the the ball was sent up to the guy who ended up scoring it. You could also go over onto the player statistics page on the ISBHF website. You'll see that Justice Christiansen had 8 total points in 5 games over here. And then if you look at the game log, he had 2 points against the Czechs in the first game, 1 point each in games against Slovakia, Switzerland, and the US, and then 3 points, a goal and 2 assists in the final game against Czechia. Justice Christiansen totally stepped up when it mattered and provided Canada with some much-needed leadership and point production to get that gold medal. You also had yourselves, I just want to take a look at this right here. Let's see the women's production because there were a lot of blowout games in this tournament over here. Player statistics. Who was leading the ball hockey tournament here? Okay. 18 points in 5 games for Nela Lapusanova of Slovakia. Was that more productive than the guys on the men's side? Let's just take a look at it here. So the number 1 point producer for this ball hockey World Junior men's side. Yeah, so David Sindelar, 13 points in 5 games. The women outproduced the men, just in terms of the points, goals, and assists. But good on Justice Christiansen for not only captaining Team Canada to World Junior Ball Hockey Gold, but also captaining the Prince Albert Raiders and further taking his talents over to the Detroit Red Wings and their Prospect Games roster. So, as I had said, this is a prospect update video like no other for the Detroit Red Wings, as they're getting themselves a legitimate ball hockey champion and a guy who proved some very good things at the World Junior Ball Hockey Tournament just a few months ago. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Justice Christiansen and what you can expect out of him heading into Red Wings camp. He was already a very solid WHL defender, but just taking his talents over to the World Junior Ball Hockey Championship is so unique, and it's something we don't ever see. So I wanted to shine a spotlight here on Christiansen after this development over here. Thoughts in the comment section below about this player prospect profile. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.